The moment Donovan dropped to one knee in the middle of Michigan Avenue, traffic screeching to a halt around him, Riley's face went from confusion to pure shock in a single heartbeat. Horns blared, pedestrians froze mid-step, and Donovan's heart hammered so loudly, he barely heard his own voice asking the question that had been building inside him for 2 long years. "Riley, will you marry me?" The words hung in the crisp Chicago air like a challenge to the universe itself. Riley stood there, coffee cup slipping from his fingers, brown eyes wide as the city seemed to hold its breath. Donovan had planned this for months, rehearsing every detail in the quiet hours after his night shift. But nothing prepared him for the way the world tilted when Riley finally nodded, tears streaming down his cheeks. What neither of them expected was the sudden roar of applause erupting from the crowd gathering on the sidewalks. Strangers clapped, some cheering outright, phones held high to capture the moment. Donovan rose slowly, pulling Riley into his arms, feeling the warmth of his partner's body against the stiff fabric of his police uniform. It was supposed to be a private declaration turned public statement, but the reaction unfolding around them felt like the first crack in the wall Donovan had built around his life. Back at the station later that evening, the shift sergeant clapped him on the back with a grin that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Heard you made quite the scene today, Donovan. City's talking about it already." Donovan forced a laugh, hanging up his gear, but inside his stomach twisted. The proposal had been his way of proving something to Riley, to himself, but the viral video already spreading across social media meant the secret he had guarded so fiercely was now out there for everyone, including his father, to see. Riley waited for him at their small apartment in Lincoln Park, takeout Thai food spread across the table. "You didn't have to do that in front of the whole world," he said softly, pulling Donovan close the moment the door clicked shut. Donovan kissed the top of his head, breathing in the familiar scent of his shampoo. "I wanted to. No more hiding, Riley. Not anymore." Yet even as he said it, doubt flickered at the edges of his mind. His father, retired Captain Harlan Matthews, had raised him on stories of the force, of brotherhood forged in the line of duty, but those stories never included men like Donovan. The next morning, the newspaper on their doorstep carried a photo of the proposal, headline reading, "Officer Pops the Question in Rush Hour Chaos." Donovan stared at it, coffee growing cold in his hand. Riley squeezed his shoulder. "Whatever happens, we face it together." Donovan nodded, but the weight of what he had set in motion pressed down harder than any bulletproof vest. He had always been the golden boy of the Matthews family, the one who followed in his father's footsteps without question. Now, at 28, that path felt like a narrowing corridor with no exit. His mother would call soon, voice trembling with questions he wasn't ready to answer. His partner on the force, Mike, would want details, and the locker room jokes would shift into something sharper. But looking at Riley's hopeful smile, Donovan knew he had crossed a line he could never uncross. The applause from strangers had felt like validation in the moment, yet now it echoed like a warning. This was only the beginning. Donovan's shift that day dragged under the weight of sideways glances from colleagues who had seen the video. One rookie offered a fist bump and a quiet "congrats, man," but the silence from others spoke volumes. By afternoon, the captain pulled him aside in the briefing room. "Personal life's your business, Matthews, but keep it off the streets. We have a job to do." Donovan nodded tightly, jaw clenched. Riley texted him during lunch, "Thinking of you. Dinner at home tonight." Donovan smiled at the screen, the first genuine one all day. That evening, over pasta and candlelight, Riley recounted his own day at the graphic design firm, how coworkers had flooded his desk with questions. "They think it's romantic," he said, laughing. Donovan reached across the table, lacing their fingers. "It is." Yet beneath the warmth, a crack of fear ran through him. His father's number had appeared on his phone 3 times already, unanswered. The confrontation loomed like a storm on the horizon, and Donovan wondered if the courage that carried him through the proposal would hold when the real battles began. Riley sensed the tension, pulling him onto the couch afterward. Tell me what's going on in that head of yours. Donovan hesitated, then spoke of the captain's warning, the cold shoulders at roll call. Riley listened without interruption, his thumb tracing circles on Donovan's palm. You've carried this alone long enough. I'm here now all the way. The words soothed something raw inside Donovan. But sleep came fitfully that night, dreams tangled with flashing lights and his father's disappointed face. By morning, the first text from his mother arrived. We saw the video. Call us. Donovan stared at the message, Riley still asleep beside him. The applause that had felt triumphant yesterday now seemed like the spark that would ignite everything he had tried so hard to protect. He dressed in silence, kissed Riley goodbye, and stepped into the day knowing his carefully constructed world was already beginning to unravel. The drive to the precinct felt longer than usual, radio news mentioning the viral cop proposal in passing. Donovan turned it off, gripping the wheel tighter. At his desk, paperwork waited, but so did a stack of printed screenshots from online comments, left anonymously on his chair. Some supportive, others vicious. He crumpled them, heart racing. Mike appeared at his side. Ignore the noise, partner. You've got my back on the street. That's what matters. Donovan managed a nod, grateful for the small anchor. Yet the day brought its own tests. A domestic call in a conservative neighborhood turned tense when the husband recognized him from the news. Figures, the man muttered as Donovan cuffed him. The words stung more than they should. Back at the station, Donovan replayed the proposal in his mind. The way Riley's yes had lit up the gray afternoon. It had been worth it, he told himself. But as his phone buzzed with another missed call from home, he wondered how many more moments like this he could endure before the cracks became fractures. Riley greeted him that night with open arms and a quiet understanding that needed no words. They ate in comfortable silence, then walked along the lakefront, hands brushing until Donovan finally took Riley's in his own. I don't regret it, he said. Riley smiled. Neither do I. The city lights shimmered on the water, mirroring the fragile hope growing between them. Donovan knew the road ahead would test them both, but for the first time, he felt ready to walk it openly. The following week brought the family dinner Donovan had been dreading. His parents' house in the suburbs looked the same as always, American flag waving on the porch, but the atmosphere inside crackled with unspoken questions. His mother hugged him tightly at the door, eyes searching his face. We love you, she whispered. His father sat at the head of the table, jaw set, barely speaking through the meal. Riley sat beside Donovan, hand resting on his knee under the table for support. Conversation stayed surface level until dessert, when his father finally spoke. You embarrassed the badge, son. The words landed like a punch. Donovan met his gaze. I proposed to the man I love, Dad. That's not embarrassment. His mother tried to mediate, but the tension only thickened. Riley spoke up calmly, sharing stories of their life together, the quiet ways they supported each other through long shifts and deadlines. Slowly, something shifted in his father's eyes, not acceptance yet, but a crack in the armor. The drive home was quiet, Riley's head on Donovan's shoulder. That was a start, he said. Donovan nodded, the weight lifting slightly. The applause from the street had opened the door. Now they had to walk through it together, one difficult conversation at a time. Work remained a minefield, but small victories came. A female officer pulled him aside after roll call. My brother's gay. What you did took guts. Donovan thanked her, the words fueling him through another patrol. Riley's firm threw a small celebration, colleagues toasting the couple with genuine warmth. Donovan watched Riley laugh, realizing how much he had missed seeing his partner shine without shadows. Yet the internal battle raged on. Nights brought nightmares of losing his job, of his father turning away forever. Riley held him through them, whispering reassurance. You're not alone anymore. Donovan clung to that truth, the proposal's bold step becoming the foundation for a new chapter. The city continued its rhythm around them, indifferent yet somehow altered by their public stand. Donovan patrolled the same streets where he had knelt, now seeing them through clearer eyes. The applause had been unexpected, but the real change was happening inside, slow and steady, like the lake thawing in spring. He knew more storms waited, but with Riley beside him, Donovan felt the strength to face them all. Weeks turned into months, and the initial media frenzy around the proposal gradually faded into background noise. But the ripples continued spreading through Donovan's life in ways he could never have predicted. At the precinct, attitudes split like a fault line. Some officers treated him with the same easy camaraderie as before, sharing coffee and war stories during downtime. Others kept their distance, conversations drying up when he entered the locker room. Mike remained steadfast, backing him during a tense arrest in Englewood where backup was slow to arrive. "They don't know what real courage looks like," Mike said later over burgers at their favorite dive. Donovan appreciated the loyalty, but the isolation gnawed at him during quiet moments on patrol. Riley noticed the change immediately. Their evenings, once filled with easy laughter and plans for the future, now carried an undercurrent of worry. "You don't have to carry it all alone," Riley reminded him one night as they sat on the fire escape watching the skyline. Donovan leaned into him, the city humming below. "I know. It's just, everything feels different now." Riley's design firm had embraced the story with surprising enthusiasm, featuring their engagement photo in the company newsletter as a symbol of diversity. Colleagues asked for details, offered wedding planning tips, and Riley thrived in the openness. Donovan envied that ease, wishing his own world could shift so smoothly. A turning point came during a family barbecue at his parents' house. His younger sister, Emma, home from college, pulled him aside near the grill. "Dad's been reading up on things. He asked me for articles about gay officers." Donovan's eyebrows rose. "Really?" Emma nodded. "He's trying, in his own stubborn way." Later, his father approached him by the fence, beer in hand. "I don't understand it all, son, but I see how he looks at you. That's real." The words weren't perfect, but they were a bridge Donovan had feared would never exist. He hugged his father tightly, the weight of years easing just a fraction. Riley joined them, and for the first time, the four of them laughed together without tension. Back at the apartment, Donovan and Riley celebrated the small victory with dancing in the living room to an old playlist. "See? Steps forward," Riley said, spinning him around. Donovan pulled him close. "Because of you." Yet challenges persisted. A high-profile case landed on Donovan's desk, involving a protest that turned chaotic. During debrief, a senior officer made a pointed remark about personal agendas affecting focus. Donovan confronted him privately afterward, voice steady. "My personal life doesn't change how I do my job." The officer backed down, but the incident left Donovan questioning how much further he could push. Riley listened to the story that night, anger flashing in his eyes. "You stood up for us again." Donovan shrugged. "It shouldn't have to be a stand." Their relationship deepened through these trials. Weekend getaways to the Indiana dunes became sacred, walks along the beach where they talked about everything and nothing. Riley sketched ideas for their wedding, simple and intimate, while Donovan shared fears about long-term career prospects. "What if the department never fully accepts it?" he asked one sunset. Riley took his hand. "Then we build something else. Together." The reassurance grounded him. News of their story reached unexpected places. A local LGBTQ center invited Donovan to speak at a youth event. He hesitated at first, the idea of public speaking terrifying, but Riley encouraged him. Standing before a room of teenagers, Donovan spoke of his journey, the fear, the proposal, the applause that changed everything. A young boy in the back raised his hand. "Did it get better?" Donovan smiled. "It's getting there, one day at a time." The experience left him energized, a new purpose emerging alongside his badge. At work, Mike noticed the shift. "You're lighter lately," Donovan laughed. "Feels like it." Yet a betrayal waited in the wings. During a routine traffic stop, Donovan's body cam captured a suspect's homophobic slur aimed directly at him. The footage leaked online, sparking fresh debate and forcing the department into damage control. Internal Affairs questioned Donovan for hours. "Did you provoke it?" they asked. He held his ground, Riley waiting outside with coffee and quiet support. The incident tested their resilience, arguments flaring briefly over whether the public proposal had invited this scrutiny. "I won't apologize for loving you," Donovan said one heated evening. Riley softened. "Neither will I." They reconciled with tears and promises, emerging stronger. Donovan's father called afterward, voice gruff. "Proud of how you handled it, son." The words meant everything. As autumn leaves turned the city gold, Donovan and Riley visited the exact spot of the proposal. Traffic still rushed by, but now they stood hand in hand openly. "Thank you for saying yes," Donovan whispered. Riley kissed him softly. "Thank you for asking." The moment echoed the original applause, but this time it was just theirs, quiet and profound. The journey stretched ahead, filled with unknowns, but Donovan faced it with a heart finally unburdened. Riley's steady presence reminded him daily that love was the truest badge he would ever wear. Small joys accumulated. Shared grocery runs, lazy Sundays, plans for a future that no longer felt hidden. Donovan began mentoring a new recruit struggling with his own identity, paying forward the courage he had found. Life in Chicago continued its relentless pace, but for Donovan and Riley, the world had expanded, brighter and more possible than ever before. Winter arrived with biting winds off the lake, mirroring the fresh challenges that tested Donovan and Riley's growing bond. The department announced promotions and Donovan's name sat on the shortlist for detective, a dream he had chased since academy days. During the interview panel, questions veered personal. "How do you plan to balance family life with the demands of the job?" one captain asked, eyes flicking to the engagement ring Donovan now wore openly. He answered with measured confidence, citing his clean record and dedication. Riley waited at home with homemade soup, sensing the stakes. "Whatever happens, I'm proud of you," he said. The promotion came through, but not without whispers in the hallways. Donovan ignored them, focusing on new cases that demanded his full attention. A string of burglaries in their own neighborhood pulled him into late nights, leaving Riley to handle wedding details alone. Tension simmered until one evening Donovan returned exhausted to find Riley upset over forgotten anniversary plans. "I feel like the proposal opened the door, but now work is closing everything else," Riley admitted. Donovan pulled him close. "I'm sorry. Let's fix this." They spent the weekend reconnecting, hiking in the forest preserves, talking through the pressures. Riley shared his own struggles at the firm, where a major client had questioned his lifestyle after seeing the viral video. Donovan listened, anger rising on his partner's behalf. "We'll face them together too." The mutual support strengthened their foundation. Christmas brought the family together again, this time warmer. His mother baked Riley's favorite cookies, and his father asked genuine questions about the design world. Emma teased them about wedding colors, lightening the mood. Under the tree, Donovan gave Riley a custom sketchbook engraved with their names. Riley's gift was a framed photo of the proposal moment, captured by a stranger and now a reminder of their beginning. "To more applause," Riley toasted quietly. Yet the new year brought an unexpected blow. Donovan's longtime mentor, Sergeant Hayes, retired and in a farewell speech praised traditional values that left little room for interpretation. Colleagues glanced at Donovan, who sat stone-faced. Later, Hayes pulled him aside. "Nothing personal, kid. Just how things were." The words stung deeply, reopening old wounds. Riley helped him process it over wine. "His loss, not yours." Donovan nodded, but the doubt lingered. Work intensified with a major investigation involving organized crime. Donovan's undercover stint required long absences, testing Riley's patience. Phone calls became lifelines, late-night conversations about fears and dreams. "I miss holding you," Riley confessed one night. Donovan promised to make it up. The case resolved successfully, earning department accolades, but the strain showed. Riley suggested couples counseling, a step Donovan initially resisted. "Cops don't do therapy," Riley persisted gently. "We do if we want to last." Their first session opened floodgates, Donovan voicing years of internalized shame. The counselor guided them through exercises that rebuilt trust. Emerging from one meeting, Donovan felt lighter. "You're right. This helps." Spring blooms brought renewal. They attended their first Pride event together, marching hand in hand amid rainbow flags. The energy was electric, strangers cheering just as they had on Michigan Avenue. Donovan spotted his sister in the crowd, waving proudly. Riley's eyes sparkled. "This is us." The experience solidified their commitment. Back home, they finalized wedding invitations, choosing a lakeside venue for its simplicity. Donovan's father offered to walk him down the aisle, a gesture that brought tears. "Never thought I'd say that," he admitted gruffly. Riley's parents flew in from California for a visit, embracing Donovan warmly. Stories flowed late into the night, bridging their worlds. Yet a misunderstanding threatened to unravel progress. During a heated work call, Donovan snapped at Riley for interrupting, words sharper than intended. Riley withdrew, hurt lingering for days. Donovan apologized profusely, planning a surprise picnic to make amends. Under blooming trees, he reaffirmed his love. "You're my partner in every sense." Riley forgave, the moment healing deeper rifts. Summer heat tested them again when Donovan faced a complaint from a civilian who claimed bias based on his orientation. Internal affairs cleared him quickly, but the process exhausted him. Riley stood by, attending hearings and offering quiet strength. "We've survived worse." The ordeal passed, leaving Donovan more determined. He began volunteering at the LGBTQ Youth Center, sharing his story to help others. Riley joined, designing flyers that amplified their message. Their shared purpose brought fresh joy. As leaves hinted at fall again, Donovan reflected on the year since the proposal. The crowd's applause had been the spark, but every choice since had forged their path. Riley caught him staring at the framed photo. "Thinking about that day?" Donovan smiled. "Thinking about us." They danced slowly in the kitchen, the city lights twinkling beyond the window. Challenges remained, but so did their unbreakable bond. Donovan knew the journey of growth was ongoing, each step revealing more of who he truly was. With Riley's hand in his, the future stretched bright and full of promise. The second anniversary of their engagement dawned with golden light filtering through the apartment windows, and Donovan woke to the smell of fresh coffee and Riley humming in the kitchen. He slipped out of bed, wrapping his arms around his fiancée from behind. "Happy anniversary," he murmured. Riley turned, kissing him deeply. 2 years since you shocked the entire city." They laughed, reminiscing about the proposal that had set their lives on a new trajectory. Donovan had grown into his role as detective, solving cases with a sharper intuition shaped by personal trials. Riley's career flourished too, landing a promotion to creative director. Yet balance remained delicate. A new case consumed Donovan's days, involving a missing person with ties to local politics. Long hours meant missed dinners, and Riley's patience frayed. "I support your work, but I need you here too," he said during one argument. Donovan promised change, scheduling a weekend getaway to Michigan. The cabin by the lake offered respite, days filled with hikes and nights by the fire. Conversations turned profound, Riley sharing childhood stories of feeling different, Donovan opening up about academy bullying he had buried. The honesty healed old scars. Returning refreshed, They tackled wedding planning with renewed energy. Venue booked, suits chosen, guest list finalized. Donovan's parents hosted a small engagement party, neighbors mingling without awkwardness. His father raised a toast. "To my son and the man who makes him happy." The words landed softly, acceptance now a quiet reality. Work brought fresh tests when a colleague's son came out, seeking Donovan's advice. He mentored the family through initial shock, drawing from his own experience. Riley joined for dinners, offering perspective. The ripple effect felt meaningful. Yet betrayal struck unexpectedly. A former academy friend, now in another precinct, leaked old private messages to tabloids, twisting them into sensational headlines. The department faced scrutiny again, and Donovan endured another round of interviews. Riley stood firm. "We fight this with truth." They held a press conference together, Donovan speaking calmly about privacy and love. Public support surged, emails flooding in from strangers who had seen the original video. The scandal passed, strengthening their resolve. Fall brought family revelations. Riley's brother visited, confessing his own struggles with identity and seeking guidance. Donovan and Riley listened for hours, offering resources and hugs. The moment bonded the families closer. Donovan reflected on how far they had come since that street corner. The applause had opened doors, but their choices had built the home. Winter holidays approached, and they volunteered at a shelter, serving meals and sharing stories. A young runaway thanked them, eyes bright with hope. "You showed me it's possible." Donovan felt the impact deeply. Back home, they decorated their tree with ornaments collected from travels. Riley hung the photo from the proposal prominently. "Our origin story." Donovan pulled him close. "And our forever." New Year's Eve found them at a rooftop party with friends, counting down under fireworks. Donovan whispered his love as the clock struck midnight. Riley's eyes shone. Forever starts now. The new year ushered in deeper commitments. They bought a house in a quieter suburb, painting walls and planting a garden together. Donovan joined the department's diversity committee, advocating for better policies. Riley designed campaigns for local nonprofits. Their lives intertwined seamlessly. Yet internal doubts resurfaced when Donovan faced a life-threatening call, a shootout that left him shaken. Riley held him through nightmares, reminding him of his strength. Therapy continued, helping process trauma. Spring brought wedding preparations to a peak. Invitations sent, rehearsals planned. Donovan's father offered to officiate part of the ceremony, studying vows with quiet determination. The gesture moved them both. Riley's parents arrived early, helping with decorations. Laughter filled their new home. A misunderstanding arose when Donovan missed a fitting due to work, Riley feeling sidelined. They talked it through openly, emerging closer. The counselor praised their progress. Summer wedding approached, nerves mixing with excitement. Donovan practiced his vows alone, voice steady. Riley surprised him with custom rings engraved with their proposal date. The night before, they shared a quiet dinner. "No matter what, we've already won," Riley said. Donovan agreed, heart full. The ceremony day dawned perfect, lakeside setting glowing. Families gathered. Friends cheered as they exchanged rings. Donovan's voice cracked with emotion, reciting promises. Riley's eyes never left his. The kiss sealed everything, applause echoing like that first street moment, but deeper, personal. Reception flowed with dances and toasts. Donovan's father hugged them both. "Proud of you." Riley's mother cried happy tears. As night fell, they slipped away to the dock, stars reflecting on the water. "We did it," Donovan whispered. Riley smiled. "Our journey continues." The honeymoon in Hawaii offered paradise, days of beaches and nights of connection. Donovan proposed a toast. "To growth and love." Riley clinked glasses. Returning home, they settled into married life, routines blending seamlessly. Donovan's work balanced better, Riley's career thriving. They hosted their first family barbecue, laughter ringing out. The path from that shocking proposal had led here, through storms and sunshine, forging two men stronger together. Married life unfolded with a rhythm Donovan and Riley had fought hard to earn. Yet new layers of challenge and joy continued revealing themselves in unexpected ways. Donovan's detective work took him deeper into community outreach, partnering with schools to talk about safety and acceptance. Students asked questions about his story, inspired by the now-famous proposal video that still circulated online. Riley supported these efforts, creating educational materials that made complex topics accessible. Their home became a gathering place for friends navigating similar paths, dinners turning into support sessions filled with laughter and tears. One evening, a young officer Donovan mentored arrived upset after coming out to his parents. Riley cooked comfort food while Donovan shared strategies that had worked for him. The night ended with hope renewed. Family dynamics evolved too. Donovan's father joined them for monthly golf outings, conversations shifting from past regrets to future dreams. "Never thought I'd have a son-in-law who beats me at putting," he joked. Riley grinned, the bond solidifying. Donovan's mother organized charity events with Riley's help, their collaboration bridging generations. Work brought a major promotion for Donovan to lead a task force on youth protection, his personal experiences shaping compassionate policies. Colleagues who once distanced themselves now sought his input. Mike clapped him on the back at the ceremony. "You earned this, partner." Riley celebrated with a surprise party, their living room overflowing with loved ones. Yet sacrifice tested them again when Riley's firm offered a dream job in New York, requiring relocation. Donovan weighed the move against his roots and career. Long talks ensued, weighing pros and cons. "Your happiness matters too," Donovan said. Riley ultimately declined, choosing their Chicago life. "Our home is here, with the people who stood by us." The decision strengthened their partnership. Autumn brought a health scare when Donovan injured his shoulder during a pursuit. Recovery involved physical therapy and Riley's unwavering care. Mornings started with gentle exercises, evenings with stories to distract from pain. "You've carried me through everything," Donovan said one night. Riley kissed his forehead. "That's what husbands do." The ordeal passed, leaving Donovan grateful for the reminder of vulnerability. They renewed vows privately on their proposal anniversary, returning to Michigan Avenue at dusk. Traffic still rushed, but now they stood as equals, rings glinting. A few passersby recognized them, offering quiet congratulations. The moment felt full circle. Winter holidays featured a big family reunion, both sides blending traditions. Donovan's father carved the turkey, Riley's mother sharing California recipes. Laughter echoed, children from extended family running around. Donovan watched Riley across the table, heart swelling. This was the life they had chosen. New challenges emerged with a citywide debate on police reform. Donovan testified, advocating for inclusivity based on his journey. Riley sat in the audience, pride evident. The experience exhausted them but reinforced their purpose. Spring brought renewal with a garden project, planting flowers symbolizing their growth. Riley sketched designs while Donovan dug soil. Their hands dirty, they laughed about the proposal's chaos. "Who knew one knee could lead to this?" Riley said. Donovan pulled him close. "Best decision ever." Summer travels included a road trip across national parks, reconnecting with nature and each other. Campfires hosted deep talks about dreams, including adopting a child one day. The idea excited them both. Back home, they began the process, attending workshops and home studies. The journey mirrored their original path, filled with paperwork and hope. A misunderstanding with an adoption counselor tested patience, but open communication resolved it quickly. Donovan's growth showed in his calm leadership. Family supported fully, his father offering to build a nursery. Riley's parents sent care packages. The process moved forward steadily. As leaves turned again, Donovan reflected on the years since that street proposal. The crowd's reaction had been the spark, but every subsequent choice had built this beautiful reality. Riley caught his gaze during a quiet evening. "Still thinking about it?" Donovan smiled. "Always grateful." They danced in the living room, music soft. Life continued its beautiful, imperfect flow. Donovan mentored more officers. Riley expanded his advocacy through art exhibits. Their love remained the constant anchor. Challenges would come, but together they faced them with the same courage that started it all. The applause from strangers had faded, replaced by the steady rhythm of a life fully lived. Years blended into a tapestry of shared milestones, Donovan and Riley navigating parenthood after their adoption of a bright-eyed boy named Lucas finalized on a crisp autumn morning. The courtroom applause echoed faintly like that long-ago street moment. But this time it was official, binding them as a family. Lucas, 5 years old with a love for police cars and drawing, brought chaos and joy that reshaped their world. Donovan adjusted shifts to coach Little League. Riley transformed his studio into a playroom filled with crayons. Nights involved bedtime stories where Donovan recounted sanitized versions of his proposal, Lucas giggling at the big crowd. Family gatherings expanded, grandparents spoiling Lucas with stories and gifts. Donovan's father taught him to throw a baseball, voice proud. "You're raising him right, son." Riley's parents video called weekly, sharing recipes and encouragement. Work evolved too. Donovan led community programs teaching empathy in schools, Riley illustrating children's books on diverse families. Their efforts touched lives, letters arriving from parents thanking them for representation. Lucas's first school play featured him as a superhero, Donovan and Riley cheering loudest in the audience. Challenges persisted, like explaining prejudice when a classmate questioned their family. They handled it with age-appropriate honesty, turning the moment into a lesson on kindness. Lucas hugged them afterward. "I love our family." The words healed old wounds. A health issue with Donovan's shoulder flared again, requiring surgery. Riley managed home life seamlessly, Lucas helping with doctor play. Recovery strengthened bonds, Donovan appreciating the support network they had built. "We made it through worse," Riley reminded him. They renewed their commitment during a quiet anniversary trip, just the two of them while grandparents watched Lucas. Walking the same Chicago streets, they paused at the proposal spot. "Look how far we've come," Donovan said. Riley squeezed his hand. "And we're still going." Back home, life resumed with soccer practices and art projects. Lucas asked questions about their story, prompting Donovan to share more openly. The boy listened wide-eyed. "You were brave, Dad." The simple praise meant everything. Donovan's career peaked with a leadership award for diversity initiatives, Riley by his side at the ceremony. Lucas clapped enthusiastically. Family celebrated afterward, toasts ringing out. Yet reflection brought depth. Donovan pondered the internal struggles that once consumed him, now distant memories replaced by fulfillment. Riley's unwavering love had been the catalyst. One evening, watching Lucas sleep, they sat on the porch. True or false? Public vulnerability always leads to lasting happiness? Donovan asked softly, posing the question that had lingered since their beginning. Riley smiled, leaning against him. "True, when it's rooted in love like ours." The city hummed around them, stars overhead, their journey a testament to growth through every choice and consequence.